Hi, everybody. It's Friday, October 20th, 2023. Good afternoon to everybody. Good evening in the East Coast. I'm Dana Lane. Welcome to Against the Public. We're the only show that combs through early betting patterns, tells you exactly where you might want to steer clear of early public opinion. Today, we're headed back to college football. We're going to find plays where the early public betting trend might be a little bit misguided, and I've identified 5 matchups that are likely to go against public opinion and result in maybe some ripped up tickets. Before we do that, let's update you as to where we are on the show right now. 4-1 on the ice a couple nights ago, so that's good. We always make that little adjustment, and we've been flying ever since. Brings our record on the show to 63-45. 58.3% winners, and it's amazing what a little tweak can do. And I've had people say to me, why should I pay a handicapper when I know just as much? This is one of the reasons. It's because when you do this for a living and you're a professional at what you do, you realize that a little bit of a tweak in how you're attacking games needs to be implemented. And that's exactly what we did the other night, and that's resulted in winners ever since. So we appreciate everybody that tailed the show, and hopefully you had some money put in your pocket. With that being said, I have 4 games up at Pickdawgz right now, all college football games. Baylor, Cincinnati, followed by South Florida, UConn, ODU, and App State. And we're going to wash that down with Arizona State and Washington. The last 3 games are part of my college football 3-pack that comes with our Pick Dawgz win guarantee for just $54.99. Also, you can bypass those daily purchases by just jumping on a 30-day pass like many people have done this week. And I appreciate everybody who has shown me that kind of trust. I know that you work hard for the money. You can put it in anybody on this website because we're all fantastic at what we do. I appreciate the trust and people kind of putting their money behind me. You can get every play for $399.99. Every play that works out to be about $13.33 a day. You can get everyone from Major League Baseball, college football, the NFL, NHL, upcoming NBA. Get it all, one low price, and you're set for the next 30 days. Before we get to our games, I did have a question that comes up from time to time, and since the numbers are always changing, kind of need to update this. And I was asked once again about public records when money wagered and tickets wagered are the higher percentage or on the same team. And I was asked about the NHL, and I think I brought this up in an earlier broadcast or video or whatever. I brought this up, but then I started to think, well, what if it pertains, if we take those numbers and filter it and put it into college football, what are we looking at? And so it's interesting. In 2023, when the ticket count and the money percentage are supporting the same team, so far it's a little bit more even than what you might think. The public is holding a 128 and 125 advantage, still a loss of 9 units. But as we dig deeper into the past, over the last 3 seasons, bettors are 623 and 607, which is a better win percentage of just over 50%, under 51%. But if we go back 5 years, we can see where this technique over the long term really doesn't work. The public is 1,075, 1,129, 48.8% winners over the last 5 years, minus 138.44 units. That's a massive loss. So, another technique that maybe we would apply. Can't do it again here either. So you still got to apply good old-fashioned handicapping when it comes to bet percentages or ticket percentages. So I did go a little bit deeper, and I said, okay, well, what team does the public get wrong the most? And I have the top 3 teams that the public gets wrong the most when ticket percentage and money percentage is on the same team. Coming in at number 3, New Mexico, 0-8, minus 8 units. Number 2, Army, 6-14, ATS, minus 8.34 units. And the number 1 team that bettors get wrong more than any other team over the last 5 seasons, University of Central Florida, is just 9-19 ATS, minus 10.73 units. But there are some teams that bettors do get right. And the first one is, it's obvious. Alabama coming in at number 3, 23-14 when they get both the money and the ticket count, plus 7.41 units. Number 2 is Navy, 15-5 ATS, plus 8.82 units. And number 1 is Kentucky, 18-6 ATS, plus 10.5 units when they get the ticket and the money percentage on their side. So that's kind of interesting. So let's get to this week's free games. Starting out 9 o'clock Eastern time on Pacific, 12 o'clock on the Eastern Seaboard. Western Michigan at Ohio. Ohio minus 16.5, 52. And we've seen this number shoot up from 13 here in Vegas to minus 15 offshore. Wide variety of numbers, so shop for the best numbers. We're up to 16.5 here, and I've actually seen some 17s offshore. So the opening number was minus 13. As high as minus 15, that has shot up to 16.5 and 17s. And this movement is because we see 93% of the money on the Bobcats. And for me, the Broncos have dropped 5 or 6 games. Yep, granted. But they still have a terrific defense, a defense that I feel like is at least above average. And the Broncos also own the second best offense in the MAC, which, say what you want about the MAC. Still, I think this is a team that can move the ball. We should have enough to cover this inflated number. We're going to take Western Michigan plus 16.5. Game number 2, Memphis Tigers minus 7, total 62 versus UAB Blazers. 93% of the money is coming in on Memphis after opening up as low as 3.5 in some spots. Things change now that we're getting a full touchdown here. I was going to stay away from this because I didn't love the number, but now we're getting a full touchdown and the annual Battle of the Bones, which is starting back up again now that they're in this conference, which is basically a big barbecue fest there. Team that wins, I think, gets one of Memphis is bringing like 94 pounds of meat with them on this trip, but that's just me being hungry. But we have seen Jacob Zeno, who is 5th in the country, who is a Blazers quarterback, 5th in the country in completions percentage at 74%. He's thrown for over 1,900 yards this season, so it's not a dink and dunk offense. Blazers are just 4-12 on the road under Ryan Silverfield, so we're going to take the Blazers plus a 7 here. Game number 3, Charlotte at East Carolina. I've changed this a little bit because the numbers have changed as I was even prepping for this. East Carolina minus 6.5 and 40. 68% of the money is on the 49ers, which has pushed this number to its current minus 6.5 after opening up minus 7. And I understand the thinking here with two teams that are 1-5. Most would take the touchdown in this spot, but I can't put money behind a team that hardly ever wins a turnover battle. They're always behind on turnovers, one of the worst in the nation. They can't protect their quarterback, and if Jalen Jones returns as the quarterback for Charlotte, I don't know how much I can trust him when the coaching staff thought against Navy it would be better to put Jones at a wide receiver position and actually have him under center. I just can't trust what's going on right now in Charlotte, who is last in third down conversions in college football at just over 23%. Nothing about Charlotte makes me want to put my money behind them. And really, I know 6.5 seems like a lot of points, but it's really just one score. So we're going to take East Carolina minus the 6.5. Minnesota at Iowa. Iowa minus 3.5. Total is 30.5. If you like offense, go right past this game. 68% of the money wagered is on the Gophers after the Hawkeyes open at minus 5.5. Iowa's 10-0 at home against Minnesota since 2000, and Hawkeyes have held opponents under 400 yards of total offense 21 straight games. We know, obviously, Eric All is going to be out of this one, the big tight end for Iowa, but it's not that. To me, it's not that horrific. And I know a lot of this is based upon his inability for a team that struggles to score anyway. But for me, it's still an Iowa team that plays exceptional defense. We saw that against Wisconsin. It was a very, very good defensive effort against the Badgers. Enough for me to like them against Minnesota. I'm not going to overreact for lack of offense and then the injury to All. Obviously, the public sees that as a detriment, and I understand the thinking behind that, but it's only 3.5. I think Iowa covers this game. Finally, Washington State at Oregon, another late addition. just because I like this game a little bit more. Oregon minus 20.5, 60.5. The number's gone up some from 20 to that 20.5. 64% of the money's coming in on the Ducks, as you would imagine. And we should get fired up, I think, about a Washington State program that was embarrassed last week against Arizona. And I know again, people are like, well, why would I get fired up against a program who had their worst loss against a non-top 25 team in its history? Well, the thing about it is, in the psychology of betting sports, is you're going up against Oregon, who just came off of that loss against Washington, and not a game where they were they were a field goal away. I mean, it was wide right, 44-yarder at the end. They could have won this game. I just don't see how they get back up for Washington State. And they know Washington State is dangerous. Of course, Washington State was moving up the rankings early in the year before they dropped a couple games. I expect a better effort out of Cameron Ward. I think he's a lot better than what we saw last week against Arizona, an Arizona team that it might be a little bit underrated. We saw them take USC to the limit early on as well. So maybe Arizona's a little bit better than people are giving them credit for. Washington State's not as bad. I'm going to take the Cougars with this inflated number plus 20.5. Okay, let's get to the recap of our games. Western Michigan plus 16.5, UAB plus 7, East Carolina minus 6.5, Iowa minus 3.5, Washington State plus 20.5. And before I go, I just want to remind you one more time, my best plays are at pickdawgz.com right now. Get involved with my many packages over there, including my college football 3-pack for just $54.99, my 30-day all-access pass, $399.99. That's $13.33 a day. Throw it on a credit card and forget about it. No matter how you join me, please do so this weekend. It's going to be a massive weekend. I could, been doing this long enough to know when I look at a card and I could say, okay, this looks like a great weekend. This is one of them. Feel free to DM me at Dana Lane Sports or leave a comment on the YouTube page. For Against the Public, I'm Dana Lane. Stay tuned at this channel for tomorrow's NFL Against the Public, which we will another great card that I can't wait to get into. But thanks for watching. All the best for you to you on Saturday, if that even makes sense. All the best to you on Saturday, and we'll see you again late Saturday night, I think, and then Sunday, obviously, we'll be ready to roll for the NFL. So let's get some winners. Appreciate you joining us. All the best to you on Friday and Saturday night.